Have you ever had one of those moments where everything just feels like too much and your brain completely shuts down? Maybe someone asks you a simple question and you can't answer. Maybe you're trying to make a decision and you just blank. Maybe you have 5 things happening at once and instead of handling any of them, you freeze. If you have ADHD and your brain stops working when you're overwhelmed, this is not because you can't handle stress. This is not because you're weak, and it's definitely not because you're not trying hard enough. Your brain is experiencing something called cognitive overload, and it's shutting down to protect you. And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly why this happens to ADHD brains, what's really going on underneath, and what you can do to help your brain come back online. Hi, I'm Karen. I'm a certified RTT hypnotherapist, and I work specifically with people who have ADHD and ADD to heal the emotional patterns and nervous system responses that make everyday life feel impossible. I see this freeze response all the time in my clients, and I lived through it with my daughter. So if overwhelm makes your brain shut down completely, you're not alone, and you're in the right place. Let's start with the science. Your ADHD brain processes information differently. A neurotypical brain has what we call a strong filter system. When multiple things are happening at once, their brain automatically filters out what's not important and focuses on what is. Your ADHD brain? That filter is much weaker. So when you're in a situation with multiple inputs, people talking, notifications going off, decisions to make, tasks to remember, your brain tries to process all of it at the same time. Everything comes in at equal volume, equal priority, equal intensity. And here's what happens. Your working memory, which is already smaller in ADHD brains, gets completely flooded. Think of it like a computer with too many tabs open. Eventually, it just freezes. It can't process one more thing. That's not a character flaw. That's cognitive overload. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, problem-solving, and managing emotions, it literally goes offline. And when that happens, you can't think clearly. You can't make decisions. You can't even form words sometimes. But here's what makes it even harder. While your brain is frozen, your nervous system is in full panic mode because your body doesn't understand, I'm just overwhelmed. Your body interprets this as, we are in danger, we need to survive. So you get flooded with stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, and now you're not just frozen, you're also anxious, maybe even panicking. And the more you try to force your brain to work, the more it shuts down. Because your nervous system is screaming, stop, we can't handle this. Let me give you 3 deeper patterns I see behind this freeze response. See which one feels most true for you. 1. Sensory and emotional overload. ADHD doesn't just mean you're easily distracted. It often means you're highly sensitive to sounds, to lights, to textures, to other people's emotions, to your own emotions. So when you're in an environment with a lot of stimulation, a busy store, a loud conversation, a stressful situation, your nervous system is taking in way more than a neurotypical person's. And your brain doesn't just process that information, it feels it intensely. So what looks like just a normal day to someone else, for you it's like being bombarded with input from every direction. And eventually, your brain hits its limit and says, I can't take in one more thing, shutting down now. 2. The fear of getting it wrong. Second pattern, your freeze response is tied to fear. If you grew up being corrected a lot, criticized for mistakes, or always feeling like you were doing things wrong, your brain learned something really specific. When I'm overwhelmed, I make mistakes, and mistakes are dangerous. So now, when you're in a situation with too many demands, Your subconscious doesn't see it as challenging, it sees it as threatening. And your nervous system's response to threat? Freeze. Because if you freeze, you can't mess up. If you freeze, you can't say the wrong thing, make the wrong choice, or disappoint someone. It's not logical, but it's protective. Your brain is trying to keep you safe from criticism and shame. 3. Depletion from chronic overstimulation. And third, your brain is already running on empty. If you have ADHD, you're probably spending most of your day managing things that come naturally to other people. Remembering appointments, staying focused, regulating your emotions, filtering out distractions, trying to act normal. All of that takes massive amounts of mental energy. And by the time something actually overwhelming happens, you have nothing left. Your dopamine is depleted. Your executive function is exhausted. Your nervous system is burnt out. So when one more thing gets added to the pile, your brain doesn't have the resources to handle it, and it freezes. This is not weakness. This is your brain and body telling you, we've been working overtime, and we need a break. And that message deserves to be heard. In my work with ADHD clients, I use what I call a subconscious overwhelm reset. Let me give you a version you can start using right now. Step 1. Signal safety to your nervous system. The moment you notice you're freezing, I want you to do this. Place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Take a slow breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And say out loud or in your head, I am safe right now. My brain is overwhelmed, but I am not in danger. It's okay to slow down. This is not just a calming technique. You are sending a direct signal to your vagus nerve, which controls your freeze response, that you are safe. When your nervous system gets that message, it can start to come back online. Step 2. Reduce input immediately. Your brain froze because it has too much input, so your job is to reduce it. Close your eyes or look down at the floor. If you can, step away from the noise, the people, the situation, even for 30 seconds. Turn off notifications. Put your phone face down. If someone is talking to you, it's okay to say, I need a minute. My brain is overloaded right now. You are not being rude. You are not being dramatic. You are giving your brain the space it needs to unfreeze. And once the input decreases, your prefrontal cortex can start working again. Step 3. Go deeper with the subconscious, RTT. And for a lot of people, especially if this freeze response has been happening your whole life, these tools help in the moment, but they don't fix the root cause. That's where RTT and subconscious work come in. What I do with clients is, we go back to the moments your brain first learned, overwhelm equals danger, or I can't handle too much. We release the fear, the shame, and the survival patterns stored in those memories, and we rewire your subconscious with new beliefs like, I can handle challenges one step at a time. It's safe for me to ask for help when I'm overwhelmed. When you heal the pattern at that deep level, your nervous system stops treating normal stress like a life or death threat, and the freeze response starts to fade. So if your ADHD brain freezes when you're overwhelmed, it's not because you're broken. It's because your brain is trying to protect you from what it perceives as danger. Start today with signaling safety to your nervous system, reducing input immediately, and giving yourself permission to step away when you need to. And if you know this goes deeper, if this freeze response has been controlling your life for years, I'll put a link below where you can book a free 20-minute discovery call with me, and we can talk about what's really happening under the surface. Tell me in the comments, what does overwhelm feel like in your body? Do you freeze? Do you shut down? Do you feel like you can't breathe? I want to hear your experience.